All right, welcome to another Let's Talk. So there has been a little bit, it's sort of little bit leaking, not really leaks, but little bit of a leak of information from Rockstar when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 6. Jason Schreier, he just dropped a article talking about some information that he's gotten about, like it's a little bit of an inside look on Rockstar Games. It's something that we don't see all the time. Rockstar Games, usually they keep very close knit because they don't want any information leaked out. They don't want any of their game information leaked out. They don't want anybody to know exactly what they're working on until they drop that first trailer, and then everybody, lose their minds and everything. So this is a Bloomberg article. Jason Schreier, he has been around the gaming industry for a long time. He does know a lot of people in the gaming industry. So we'll check out this article. Most of this article, um, as you can see here, is about like Rockstar cleaning up their act of the employees around their offices and everything. So a lot of it is to do with that stuff, and then it's also like how they have the best-selling games and all that. But the one thing that caught my attention, so yeah, they were talking about the protests over George Floyd. A new policy called Flexi Time allows staff to immediately take time off for every extra hour they work. And for the past 4 years, management has promised that excessive overtime won't be required for Grand Theft Auto 6, one of the most highly anticipated games by fans and investors on the planet, which is absolutely correct. GTA 6 is shaping up to be like another Cyberpunk, another Elden Ring, another whatever you want to call, the one of the biggest releases that you could possibly have in gaming is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. When that thing drops, everybody will be checking it out. Everybody will be buying it, playing it launch night and everything, me included. I can't wait for it. So there is some information on GTA 6 in here, and let's get into that. Okay, so as followed from here on down, sticking to that pledge has already prompted changes to the game original plans for the title, which codenamed Project Americas. So that really, a project name like that, we're looking at a giant, huge map from the original get go of what we were hearing. And what we were originally hearing was that they wanted to do maybe a couple different, like San Andreas had Las Vegas and SoCal and San Francisco. They kind of wanted to try and do that for Miami or Vice City, and make multiple different map locations, and also Red Dead did that too, where you had basically Texas and like southern Texas and going into Mexico. You end up going down the river, and you cross the border down in Mexico and all that. So Rockstar has done that type of a map design before, but let's read on more into this. We're for it to be more vast than GTA game, any GTA game to date. Early designs call for inclusion of territories modeled after large swaths of North and South America, half the globe. Sure, why not? With the power of the newest consoles, they could end up getting away with it if they have. That's one of those things. It's all resource management of how big the map can actually be, how much VRAM and memory allocation and everything do they have to actually make the map, and make the map, not just make the map, because it's like, oh yeah, they can just make the map. Well, there's so much detail in Rockstar games, and the map is always alive so much that, whether it's pedestrians or vehicles or weather effects or animals, or, all that stuff goes together, and they have to have, somehow the game engine has to be able to render all of it and actually keep track of everything that's going on. So, according to people familiar with the plans, but the company reeled in those ambitions and cut the main map down to a fictional version of Miami, which we had already heard that it was going back to Vice City, and we heard that it was going to be 3 protagonists that you switch between, just like what was going to be, or what is in GTA 5 single player. But that got switched around a little bit. Let's keep going. And surrounding areas, Rockstar plans is now to continue to update the game over time. So this could mean expansion packs, which could be very interesting. Maybe if you get the deluxe edition, what if it comes with a season pass, and over time they end up adding new territories? So then you end up going on to more and more. Because one of the biggest things that GTA 5 everybody wanted was expansion pack or story DLC. Now, does that mean we're going to get single player or campaign single story campaign DLC? No, but maybe yes, because if they are listening, if Rockstar gets their way, sure, yes, they will listen to the fan base and they will make story campaign stuff that everybody wants to see. It comes down to Take-Two to give them the go ahead to be able to do that, though. That's the publisher. Rockstar's developers. Take-Two is the publisher. So we'll see if they can get the green light go ahead to actually continue updating the story driven part of the game, and it's not just the GTA Online that everybody spends so much money on. Adding new missions and cities on a regular basis, which the leadership hopes will lead to less crunch during the game's final months. So that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Don't work the hell out of the Rockstar employees or developers. Just make the game modular like that. Why not? Still, the game's world remains large with more interior locations than previous Grand Theft Auto games, impacting the timeline. I mean, GTA 5, you could go into a lot of different buildings and everything. So I mean, but it was definitely still limited by the Xbox 360 era consoles, because you got to remember, Grand Theft Auto 5 was originally made for the Xbox 360, and then it was basically ported, you might as well say, over to the Xbox One and PS4. So was it on the GTA 5? I think was also on the PS3, but it was that era, Xbox 360, PS3 era. But yeah, it was ported over to the then next gen consoles, and then it's been made again into another more up-to-date version for the PS5 and Xbox Series. So, and then the PC's just been there, So let's see here. To help avoid overtime, Rockstar has also added more producers to keep track of schedules. Interesting. A move that's mostly been positive, developers said, but one that has caused bottlenecks. So basically, okay, add more producers to keep track of schedules. If that's like, if they're talking about like work from home situations and everything, but it's been mostly positive, but it's also caused bottlenecks. Now, if one thing goes wrong and you find bugs that ends up making everything crash in that area of the story or the map or whatever the case may be, then you have a lot of bug fixes that you're gonna have to do. That would be considered a big bottleneck right there. Some employees said they found themselves weighing around to communicate through middlemen, or that felt like multiple people were in charge. Oh no. That's not good. Leaving them unaware of who should make the final call. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is okay. This right here is making me. Now, it is Rockstar, so when we read something like that, some employees found themselves weighing around to communicate through middlemen. That is a giant red flag that something is going terribly wrong with the project. Now GTA 6 has been in development for a long time, many years, 5-6 years maybe, I'd say at this point. Now, that is normal Rockstar games, development cycles, because you got to remember, Red Dead Redemption 2, was made in the middle of all that time between, GTA 5 and GTA 6. They had that Red Dead Redemption 2, that giant project, and the game is huge and has so much to it. So yeah, anytime if this was not Rockstar, I would say, oh god, this game might be in a very very bad situation because it's Rockstar and the level of quality that it just somehow they always knock it out the park, and the quality is always AAA, and it's just like fucking perfection that they do. Um, it makes me a little more lenient on this whole thing, but still, like, if people are trying to figure out what the hell they need to do next, and there's this bottleneck of like, oh, I have to go through this one to get the okay of to make this for that, and there's like four different people causing a stir, like, or no. Rockstar put in place a new management structure following the departure of former design Imran Sarwar, who was accused by several employees of bullying and verbal abuse. His position was filled by three other directors, creating what several people describe as too many cooks. Oh, God. I mean, as long as we have been waiting for GTA 6, this could be the first time Rockstar makes an oops. I mean, they have been making games for like what 20 fucking years, and they've knocked it out the park every single time. Sooner or later, they're gonna make an oops. You know, sooner or later it's gonna happen. But we'll see. Situation where design. Oh, and also, you know, this right here, who is accused of bullying and verbal abuse. I mean, every company, every development team has those people. Every publisher has those people. You know, it's like there's so many hundreds of thousands of people working on each one of these projects. You're bound to have a few people that are kind of assholes, in the you know grand scheme of things. Um, Design decisions are frequently left in flux or contradicts one another. Oh no. Some core aspects of the game, such as combat, were still going through changes, even as developers expected them to be locked down. Police said Sarwar didn't respond to a request for comments. Industry analysis anticipate that the next Grand Theft Auto will be out sometime in Take-Two's 2024 fiscal year. Okay, which runs from April through March. Okay, well, with this timeline right here, we're seeing Grand Theft Auto 6 at the Game Awards, and I thought it might be last year, but pandemic and you know them transitioning from work from home situations and everything, I would have been right, but I didn't take in consideration of like you know like I said like different if people are getting fired and this and that, because we don't know. We never hear anything of what's going on inside of Rockstar until after everything is done, set, and you know they're on a good you know work schedule and everything. Then something will trickle out of like, oh, they went through some bad hardships, you know, like last year or whatever. It's just like From Software. Like it's hard to hear any information of what the hell Rockstar is doing because everybody is so damn you know just tight-lipped about everything when it comes to Rockstar. But yeah, I would say Game Awards this year. If there is any little bit of truth to this right here, or if it's you know if this information is legit, yeah, by in December Game Awards, what we should be seeing a full on, not just a teaser, but I think we'll see a preview of it, of like gameplay and everything, and story mode or story, you know, showing off exactly who the you know characters are, what the story's going on, the gameplay of it, what it looks like, graphics wise and everything. I hope it looks really really good, knocks everything out the park. Just give me a next, you know, or well, current gen only. I don't even want to see this thing on the PS4 or the Xbox One. I just want to see a PS5 Series SX whatever PC Grand Theft Auto 6. That's what I want to see. Let this thing be as cool, crazy, and as shiny, as big and bold and everything as it can be. But developers are skeptical. The game has been in development in some form since 2014. Really? Okay, so before. I guess yeah. Well, okay. So been development in some form since 2014. Yes, that would be true because they would after GTA 5 got done, they would have started you know like making concept arts and getting a rough draft of like where, you got to figure out how many characters, who the characters are, where is the game taking place. The city is always, the one of the characters in the background backdrop of Grand Theft Auto is always one of the characters. It forms all the people that are in that city, what the time period is, all that stuff. The map is like one of the crucial components that brings all these games to life. So yes, back in 2014, sure, after they finished up GTA 5, they would have started, coming up with plans for what's the next Grand Theft Auto going to look like. Especially also since, they still had like Leslie Benzi, they still had both the Hauser brothers were there. The whole original guard of Grand Theft Auto. The problem is some of these guys that have either retired or they've left, and they've gone to, as far as we know, anyways, they've gone on to work on different projects. So, although there are loose schedules in place, people interviewed for this article said they didn't know of any firm release date and that they expect the game to be at least 2 years away. Again, I would definitely say we're probably going to be seeing the first major trailer at this year's Game Awards. It probably would have been last year's Game Awards, but with time constraints, and like they said, there's some people that were getting fired, and there was some in this article, I do believe they were saying something about they were shifting some of the developers to work from home and everything. So there was a little bit of a break needed just to be able to set everything up on that front and everything. Which most all your development teams, there is a fraction of work from home people on almost every development team that's happening now. Some development teams are all work from home, and then they don't even they go to do a meetup, later after the game ships. So it sounds like they were having some really bad times with developments, and then it still doesn't. This still does not seem like they've gotten things ironed out. Loose schedules in place. People interviewed. Earlier this year, a group of designers quit Rockstar's Eden Berghoff, telling colleagues they were sick of the lack of progress. Yeah, so we were hearing a little bit of something about that. Also, one of the Hausers left because Take-Two just kept pushing for. So this is one of the things with Take-Two. Also, the publisher, they just want to keep trying to milk out GTA Online. And because of that, that's the reason why they keep having expansion after expansion, and we don't. And it's been like 10 years since we've seen a brand new Grand Theft Auto, because people keep playing GTA Online. They keep buying shark cards. They keep spending money in the damn thing, making literally billions of dollars. I do believe it's billions that they're up to now. For the longest time it was only millions, and I think they just barely broke the billion mark. If not, maybe they are into the billions. I don't know. I don't really keep track of GTA Online money, but I've heard it's a lot. Anyways, and yeah, that's just going to make the publisher go, well, just keep putting, if they're going to keep coming back for it. It's like Final Fantasy 14. It's had such a big boom of player base and everything. Of course they're going to try and keep pushing content into that. And it's that online, or game as a service. There we go. It's the game as a service type of thing. If it's making money, keep it going. Many others, however, say they're content to work at a company where there's low pressure to get a new game out the door, and that's one of the things. Rockstar always takes its time. Everybody knows this. GTA 5, which came out in 2013, jeez, so long ago, is the most profitable entertainment property of all time, thanks to its multiplayer components. GTA Online, that unprecedented financial success has given Rockstar leeway to make sweeping changes and to take its time on the next project. And as one staff member pointed out, overhauling Rockstar's culture could help with retention and recruitment, as well as lead to games that are better for everyone working on them, and presumably the people playing them too. So my biggest takeaway from all this is there's a lot of people that have left. So a lot of the original old guard that was at Rockstar, it sounds like a lot of them kind of, in a sense packed up and went home. Um, and not to work from home, but just to go and work on different projects because, I mean, 10 years is a shit long. You could have 3 games out in the span of 10 years most of the time. A game is usually like 4 years, 5 years at the most. This shit is 10 years. If you're an indie studio, you'd have about 3 games. If you're a AAA studio, I'd say about 2 games. So it's kind of crazy the amount of time that they are taking to try and get GTA 6. I mean, maybe they need to. If you rush it, it's going to turn out bad. I get that everybody wants a release date. It's just like the God of War thing, but it's also just like the Cyberpunk thing. If you rush developers, if you rush the publisher into trying either you put this game out next year or I am not buying it. If you end up pulling one of those, GTA 6 will suffer because of it. It already sounds like they're going through a lot of bad stuff as is with these two, with all that stuff being said right there. Just too many people overseeing different parts of the project and everything. Now, what I'm really, really worried about is because of all the political drama and all the people, social media drama, political drama, all the different stuff between a BLM and the protests, riots, whatever you want to call it. How much of a dampening is that going to put on the overall? Because at the end of the day, GTA is supposed to be a parody of what's going on both politically and socially, and all that. You go back and play San Andreas, it's a parody of the 90s and what was going on in the 90s and everything. Between like the Watts riots and this, that, and the other thing, and NWA, with Easy and all that stuff. And then you have like GTA 5, which is a very big parody of like here's social media blowing up, and they have like the Facebook or Twitter apps and all that stuff, the stock market, you can check it from your phone and all that, and there's parodies of all that stuff, being able to play the stock market and everything. So what would they end up doing with GTA 6? I would say parodying all this political stuff that's going on in the US over the last 5-6 years. Build the wall to MAGA, to elections, to all the stuff that it's huge in media. They're going to try and parry it, one way or the other, because that's Grand Theft Auto. That's what it does. If there is 2 different protagonists in this, and they're like Bonnie and Clyde and whatnot, and they're working together and all that. Project Americas, and I mean, to me, that's just screaming, it's going to parody it's going to be modern day Miami, Vice City, whatever. And hopefully they keep some of the legacy and everything that comes from GTA Vice City and Tommy Vercetti. Man, how freaking mind-blowingly cool would it be? You go back to Vercetti's mansion and they end up saying something, because I'm pretty sure Vercetti died somewhere around San Andreas. I do believe he died, or maybe it was GTA 4. It was one of those. Yeah, I think it was actually GTA 4, where you end up seeing in I do believe it was a newspaper or something like that Tommy Vercetti was like shot down, gunned down, and killed or something. How fucking epic would it be to go back and actually check out the Scarface Vercetti mansion? And they could even make it look just like the Scarface, mansion or whatever. But yeah, just to go back and see all the history and the lineage of Grand Theft Auto Vice City put into Grand Theft Auto 6 like that. But again, too, Latina and whoever the dude's gonna be, I almost want to say I would say a white guy, Latina, and Bonnie and Clyde going through maybe robbing stores and such. That'd be really cool too to see, and then maybe make it full on like co-op, and so you get this whole thing of like bring everyone together, but with the Bonnie and Clyde thing, and I don't know, like there's so much they could do with this thing. It's hard to try. It's hard to pin down exactly what. How they're going to do this, and but again, the dark humor, it's like if you take away the dick jokes, if you take away the jokes about like if they can't make so up here they say transformation and Rockstar, maybe Take Two it is, would match donations to BLM charities. If they can't make a joke about BLM also, because you need to make jokes on everything, like I said, it's a parody of historical times and whatnot. If they can't, make some kind of a political parody joke about George Floyd and BLM and all, and have some like crazy ass thing of, I don't know, protests out in the streets or whatever, and maybe you're spray painting on the side of buildings or something. I don't know, but just do something. If they can't do something with that, and and like election fraud and all that stuff. If they can't, if they cannot do that stuff, it's going to be a watered down version of GTA that I don't think anybody really wants. A watered down version of GTA. We want to see dark humor. But then again, we are in a new era of people that are just so damn sensitive that I don't even know if they can get away with something, because you got to think, the last time we saw Vice City, it was on the PS2. The last time we've seen San Andreas, it was on the PS2. We're talking early 2000s where games had a lot more freedom to say and do what they wanted to. GTA 5 was on just that tail end of that. 2013 was just on the tail end of like, they have full freedom to say and do whatever they want to. If they want to make a dirty joke, a mean joke, whatever, people aren't going to just flip their shit and cancel the game or the studio or whatever the case may be. So I don't know what to expect from this Grand Theft Auto. My hopes are it's going to be really, really cool, but I don't know. Anyways, this video has been going on for a long time, so I'm going to wrap it up. So go check out the rest of the channel. You can like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications when I do post something up. We'll see what ends up being. I'm really thinking we're going to see something on this at the Game Awards. It's probably not going to be a release date, and even if they did give us a release date, it's more or less like a release window, because release dates change all the time. We get 2 months before they go, or like a month before it goes gold, and all of a sudden, boop, nope, it gets pushed back 6 months. So, pretty soon, I think we're going to be seeing it. Within the next 6 months, I think we're going to be seeing exactly what the next Grand Theft Auto is going to be. Again, last year we already heard that it was going to be like maybe 3 protagonists, giant map, multiple locations, most likely Vice City. And now this just confirms exactly what we heard last year. So, it feels like they're starting to get into like a full-on package deal. So, anyways, go check out the rest of the channel for more Let's Talks like this and live stream replay stuff and more. And I will be launch nights of whatever Rockstar puts out launch night on twitch.tv/Warwolf. I will be there. I will be ready and just able to go and check it all out and everything. Launch night, I do a big videos and everything for games I'm really excited about. So come and check it out. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see you next time.